It is almost 3 o'clock and I'm actually going to get dinner started because with such a busy day in the kitchen of trying to, you know, have a couple different projects, if I wait until closer to dinner to make dinner, I'm going to be tired, and that's when we all fall susceptible to, let's call for pizza. On your way home, honey, can you run through the drive-thru, pick something up? Kids, just go in that pantry, figure out something, make it yourself type of a day. I can feel myself starting to get pretty tired, and so I'm just going to get dinner going, and if we have to reheat it at dinner time, that's okay. At least I, you know, was able to get dinner on the table. There's a time and place for all of the aforementioned time to call in for pizza, but if I know I can avoid it, I'm going to. On the stovetop, I have 2 pounds of ground meat. I'm going to get ready to brown that up, but I'm also going to add a bag of the diced onion and peppers from the garden that I froze last, you know, the end of the summer anyhow. I'm making a new recipe. I don't know if your family is this way. I'm sure everybody has at least one type of a dish, and my family's dish is tacos. If it's taco night, everybody is for it. No complaining in my house when it comes to tacos, but I kind of get a little tired of the typical taco dish. So we're trying something new for us, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to say it right. Oh, what is it even? Is it like chili rellenos or something like that? I also have poblano peppers in my freezer. I took out 2 bags. I have them thawing because when I froze these, and I knew I would hate myself later for it, but at the time when you have so much to process, you really find ways to tell yourself it's okay. I did not remove the skin from these before I froze them. So if I let them thaw, I'm going to see if I can roast them up just a little bit and see if the skins come off a little bit more easier. If not, we'll just work with it. Once your meat has browned, for me, I also had to wait for the liquid to evaporate from those frozen onions and peppers. I'm going to add in some taco seasoning. You can use whatever type of blend of seasonings you want. Because I already have a taco seasoning blend made up, I'm just going to use it. I'll add some additional garlic powder. You can use fresh if you have it. And then I like to add a little bit extra paprika as well. Going to add a can of diced tomatoes and a can of green chilies. I just love them and I add them to whatever I can. If you have fatty ground meat, you would want to drain it first before adding any of the additional ingredients. right, so I have the poblano peppers over there on my stove top. I turned the heat up on high. I've got a lid covering them. In just a couple of minutes, I'll turn that heat off and keep the lid on to see if I can't steam off the skin of the poblano peppers. In the meantime, I'm gonna get together the batter that we are going to pour over top of our mixture here. So we need to start with 1 cup of milk. So I, of course, am using my powdered milk. One teaspoon of baking powder. One-third cup of flour. It says if you want a thicker batter on top to add an additional tablespoon. I've never had this, so I don't know. I'm just gonna make it kind of as is. And then the next time I make this, I can determine at a different time, you know, if I wanted it thicker. And then 3 eggs. To transfer my mixture to my casserole pan over here, but I really don't think I see a reason to. Just leave it in here. You can use whatever kind of cheese you want. I'm going to use pepper jack cheese. This came from my freezer. So the cheese likely came from Azure, and then I cut it into individual blocks, vacuum sealed them, and threw them in the freezer. I've talked before about how freezing cheese just crumbles after it's been thawed. And you can see here, that's exactly what it's doing. It just crumbles. So I don't have to get out the cheese grater. I love it. It melts just like it would had it not been frozen before. It's beautiful. I think it might work. I have to keep it covered, of course, for the steam to come off. I'm just trying to decide if I want to go through that process or not. I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to put these on here now. You, of course, can go through that process. The skin can be a little tough. I find when you're eating them from fresh that that really tends to be the case, and I will absolutely char them, steam them, and then remove the skin. But once they've been frozen, I generally find that I don't have that issue. So I'm gonna skip it. Let's get these laid out over the top here. Let's get the batter mixture that we just made. We're going to pour that over the top. We'll get the rest of our cheese and get that crumbled over the top of that. I've got a few fresh tortillas that I made a while back I have in the freezer, so I think I'm gonna get those out. I'll probably make up some rice and some refried beans to go along with this. Oh, it's gonna be an absolute feast of a meal. And we'll probably just have leftovers tomorrow. So I won't need to do any big fancy Sunday dinner tomorrow, which is kind of nice. I can focus on other stuff. All right, there we have it. I'm gonna get this in the oven, 350 degrees for probably 50 minutes to an hour. I'll check on it after about 40 minutes or so just to make sure it's going in the right direction. Chiles Rellenos just came out of the oven. I'm gonna get it set on my counter.